da bim bam bim 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 bam bim 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 bam. Good Shabbos, everyone.
Good Shabbos, Rabbi.
There were discussions on the over-under line tonight. Some actually said 16 would be the number to choose. I'm feeling more confident that 30, where was Howard? 30 was a better number to start with. So, things are promising. But, it's midwinter break, but it's just good to be together. And I think we feel that connection and the importance of showing up and the value of that. So find someone you're sitting near who you may or may not know. Introduce yourself to them. Wish them a good Shabbos. Online, tell us where you're watching from.
Be together, it is good for us to find a way to say Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom.
Teach first. I'll do Purim Katan teach. Yeah.
Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz. Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz. Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash.
Happy Purim Katan. Thanks, Mel. As I explain for a moment what our service will entail tonight, it is a CAYA service. So for those who are new here, CAYA is a relaxed, come as you are service. You're free to use the prayer book, but you don't have to use the prayer book. We sing, we meditate, we share in the prayers. You're welcome to open it up at any time to follow along, but you never have to feel obligated to as well. So as our opening idea, our first teach, what's Purim Katan? The little Purim? Why do we have a little Purim? We only have a little Purim every so often on years like this because it's a leap year this year. So what does a leap year mean in the Jewish calendar? It means we have an entire extra month, right? Last year Rosh Hashanah was September 15th, I think. It was the first of Tishrei, I know. But on our American calendar, next year, Rosh Hashanah is October 2nd. So because if we keep our lunar calendar, it's only 354 and a half days long, and it keeps moving earlier and earlier, and soon our fall festivals are in the springtime, and our Hanukkah festivals are in the summertime, and everything's a mess. I mean, I know everything's a mess in the world anyway, but still, our calendar would be a mess. So the rabbis instituted a whole formula they invented over 2,000 years ago to how to calibrate our dates, and they said we can figure this out. And every 4, 7, 9, 13, 11, or 11, 13, 17, I don't know. It's a weird formula. We add an entire extra month. Like it's a leap year on our calendar next week, February 29th, because we have 365 and a quarter days is our solar calendar. So we add that full day every 4 years. They add a whole month. We add a whole month to our calendar. So when you add a whole month, what happens? Well, it's not just a few days of every month. You add the month of Adar to your calendar. We already have a month of Adar. It's the month we're in right now. So we add an Adar 2 to the calendar. So right now, we are in the month of Adar 1. Purim happens in the month of Adar. So what happens when this day happens in Adar 1, when we will celebrate Purim in 4 weeks? Well, the rabbis say we can't let Adar 1, the first Purim, just pass by and not recognize it. We got to raise a glass. We have to say L'chaim. We have to say it's Purim Katan. It's a little moment of celebration. We need to focus on the things that help us celebrate in the midst of the darkness of our lives, of our world, of what's around us, because there are still things for us to celebrate. I love what Rabbi Mike Moskowitz, the other Rabbi Mike Moskowitz, taught when he was with us 4 weeks ago. He shared that in their synagogue, in Congregation Bet Simchat Torah in New York City, after October 7th, they decided on October 13th, the next Friday night they were together, and October 20th and October 27th, they were all in so much pain. They all were at such a loss. But that they wanted to sort of leave that outside the sanctuary doors for a moment so they could still experience Shabbat joy. They could still say, we can find something in our relationships in being together that can help us, and by helping us, help our world. That there's still something that can give us joy even when there's so much that's bleak and difficult. So Cantor and I were talking and thinking, what's special about the Shabbat? And she said, well, why don't we talk about Purim Katan? And I said, well, I love Purim. I know you know why I love Purim. But the idea of joy, the idea of a little bit. And you know what? It's for us a preparation for the next Purim we get in 4 weeks. When we'll put on our costumes, we'll read the Megillah, we'll raise a glass or 2, 3, 4, and celebrate the way the holiday tells us. But the message for us is we always can find a moment to pause and to remind ourselves of what's good. So we say, Shiru Ladonai, sing unto God, that song of joy that Shabbat brings in our lives.
Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz. Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. Sing unto God, all the earth, a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God, and we'll all sing along. All the earth a new song unto God. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz. Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash.
And so we bring light into our world, reminding ourselves of that joy that Shabbat can bring into our lives as we kindle these Shabbat candles, and even lighting an extra one as it is the 20th Shabbat. The hostages have been held in Gaza. For those who don't have the privilege to light a Shabbat candle, we light this for them as well.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel
so as we celebrate our time together, so do we lift our voice in prayer as we rise, if we're so able, with our call to worship, our Baruch Hu. If you'd like to follow along with the prayer book, it's on page 20 of the fifth direction.
בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. Ani Adonai Elohechem.
We conclude the Valhafta, often transitioning into that word emet, truth. You've heard me share that idea before as an affirmation of what is truth in our world, but also sharing that it's not me saying I am the Lord your God, but that I affirm that God's a part of our world. But I want us to think for a moment about our own truths. What is it that we hold true that makes us who we are? Maybe even take this moment for some meditation to close your eyes. If you're so able and comfortable doing, to take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Breathing in God's gift to each and every one of us. Breathing out our gift to this world. What is our truth? What are the values that we know hold us, sustain us, remind us of what it means to be what we want to be? There are many things, I'm sure, that are racing in and out of our minds. Is it sincerity, kindness, honesty? Is it an ethic of doing what we need to do well, thoroughly? Is it a sense of knowing there's something beyond us in this world? Or maybe it's simplicity of the value of showing up. Every one of us in this sanctuary tonight, every one of us online in this moment, values showing up. Maybe we're here to remember a friend, a parent, a family member. Maybe we're here to share a prayer, to articulate something that will be words that can help us when we're not sure what to say. Or maybe we just want to be a part of something that reminds us we're not alone in this world. So much of what we experience makes us feel alone, especially being a Jew in these last months. So the connections feel that much more important and significant and valued. And maybe by showing up, we give value to that to someone else as well. Our presence affirms another to tell them, I am here with you. I'm a part of this journey with you, wherever it will take us. And maybe that's why the rabbis gave us a prayer to say at night that asks that what we feel in this moment, the connections, even when we're not physically together, we hold on to and are a part of us tomorrow as well. And we say, let us lie down in peace, God, to go to sleep and permit us to wake up in security, knowing we're safe and loved. Be a shield around us, keep enemies, disease, violence, homelessness far away from those we love. But help us show up again tomorrow. Help others show up to be with me in this journey so I know I'll continue in some way to be okay. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha.
Sukat shlomecha lechaim u'shalom me'ata v'yad olam. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. Ushmor tzeiteinu uvoenu lechaim u'shalom me'ata v'yad olam. Me'ata v'yad olam. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim.
As we prepare for the central prayers of our worship, the Amidah, the quote standing prayers, we chant as the Avot and the Atagi Bor, there's a tradition that we would say the prayers twice, completely, that everyone says them on their own. And if we've been to a traditional synagogue, we know everyone goes through them quickly on their own, and then afterwards we say them together. And the reason we do them twice, people say, why is that really necessary? And the answer was that not everyone knows the words. So we say it together to make sure that it helps those who might know the prayer, not know the prayers, to be able to do that. But I love, even in that, in the preparation for it, the line the rabbis say that we use to prepare for the most important prayers traditionally of our service. Yihiyu l'ratzoni me'efri v'hegyon libi lefanecha Adonai tzuri v'goali. That may the words of my mouth, the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, God. That I hope what I'm saying, it's not that I need it to be done correctly, that I say all my Hebrew words right. I don't think God worries about that. It's that the things I'm thinking of, the prayers, that they work. Because prayer is so odd, so weird. The rabbis say whatever flies in and out of our mind in the midst of meditation, It's holy. Well, I'm glad you guys can't see and hear what's running in and out of my head during my meditations. It's holy. I'm trying. Because I'm like you. We can't control the thoughts. There's so much there. I hope what I'm thinking, that I can attune myself to something that goes beyond myself, that understands the idea of a greater good, that I have responsibility, that connects me to all of us in this room, all of us who are praying together. And sometimes it's nice just to meditate by yourself, to sit up on the midst of a hike, top of a mountain overlooking a valley, the vastness of the world, and just breathe it in and feel like there's no one else around you, and see the blue skies and the clean air and feel the holiness in that. There's also nothing like praying with others who share the same words, wherever the intentions may lead us. So our tradition said, we have words that we share, prayers that lift us up, prayers that lift us off, and help us say, may these words help me, help each other, and help my world. Rise together for the Amidah.
Adonai Sefatai Tiftach Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. Eternal God, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your glory. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, v'Elohei Rachel, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei ha'akol, V'zocher chastei avot ve'imahot, U'mevi geula livnei v'neihem, Lema'an shemo v'yahava, Melech ozer u'moshia u'magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Bezrat Sarah, אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיי בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישוע, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל
HaKadosh. As we've been doing for the past 20 weeks, so we add these prayers to our Shabbat, to our service. Prayers linking us with our family, with our friends, for those in the land of Israel. First, a prayer for the state of Israel. Avinu Shebashamayim, Sor Yisrael, V'go'alo Barech et Medinat Yisrael. God of Israel, Rock, our salvation, bless the state of Israel, first fruit of the flourishing of our redemption. Guard her in the abundance of your love. Spread over her the shelter of your peace. Send forth your light and truth to those who lead and judge her, that they may walk in the way of justice, freedom, and integrity. Strengthen the hands of those who guard our holy land. Let them inherit salvation and life. Give peace to the land, continuous joy to her inhabitants. Soon fulfill the vision of your prophet. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation. Let them no longer learn the ways of war. And let us say,
Amen.
prayer for the soldiers of the IDF. Mishaberach Avotenu Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Ve'imutenu Tzarav Kolei Avrachel, Hu Yivrach et Chayalei Tzeva Haggadah Yisrael. Merciful God, who's blessed our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Leah, and Rachel, send your blessings to the soldiers of the Israel Defense Forces who stand guard over our homeland, on land, in air, and on the sea. May the source of strength preserve and rescue the soldiers from every trouble and distress, every plague and illness. May God send blessings and success in their every endeavor. May God bless our soldiers with wisdom, understanding, and insight. May God grant them salvation and crown them with victory. And let us say,
Amen.
a prayer for those who are still held hostage. Prayer for the redemption of the captives, those in Gaza. Achenu kol beit Yisrael. May God be merciful to our fellow Jews who wander over sea or land, who suffer captivity, persecution, and imprisonment. May God soon bring them relief from distress, deliver them from darkness into light, from subjugation to redemption, and let us say, Amen. And linking these prayers to prayers of Mishaberach for those in our own community, our own congregation, friends and family we think of at this time. Mishaberach Avotenu Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Ve'imutenu Tzarav Kolei Avrachel, Hu Yivrach et Cholim. Merciful God, who's blessed our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Leah, and Rachel. Send your blessings to our loved ones stricken with illness and anxiety, especially those friends and family we think of at this time. Please rise.
of spirit.
And let us say, Amen. As we think of those friends and family of our community, we walk around with the Torah, we reach out and touch it. So we mention names out loud of Melissa Ioto and Bob Alpiner and Amy Drysdale Atler, Deborah Bentley, Carol Berg, Michael Brody, Chris Burke, Karen Kasman, Alan Cassell, Patty Serezny, Richard Colton, Randy Diamond, Michael Eisen, Ann Gotro, Richard Gotro, Marty Gold, Batia Babesha Panina, Ava Haber-Kornholm, Ty Hall, Nick Hewiston, Don Marie Hawk, Chana Batsara, Leon Klein, Scott Klein, Chaya Aviva Bafegula, Karen Coltono, Marta Lazar, Alan Lieberman, Alan Lippett, Zoe Marcus, Gary Bernard Martin, Leonard Miji, Gail Mintz, Caleb Ben Ami, Marla Mostyn, Lauren Yosenchuk, Rezel Batlea Miriam, Carolyn Peterson, Barbara Pollack, Eileen Borcelli, Daniel Pusta, Rachelmi Beit Chaim Bachava, Marcy Fisher-Reiners, Leslie Riggs, Laura Rosso, the St. Amman family, Stephen Siegel, Matthew Schulman, Michael Schulman, Roberta Sonino, Susanna Stern, Eric Stone, Len Turman, Karen Thompson, Stuart Thompson, Dot Vernon, Emmett Zwick. Especially we think of the over 6,000 Israeli soldiers physically injured since the October 7th attack, and all those in Israel and throughout the world emotionally hurting and in need, as well as all those names that remain in our hearts. Baruch atah Adonai Chalim. Bless you, God, to give strength to those in need.
לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. משתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך
So I talked about the value of showing up and what that means in our lives. I was thinking that no prayer affirms that more than the words of Kaddish. The whole idea of saying Kaddish is that we can't say it alone. And again, it doesn't mention death. It talks about the beauty of life, the greatness of God, of what God brought into this world and the blessings we may have experienced. And I imagine at times for mourners the most difficult prayer to say, but by saying it, we're showing up. We're helping mourners stand. Rabbi Sharon Brose, in her new book, The Amen Effect, she wrote these words of the Kaddish as if it were a dialogue, as if it were a script. She admits that this is proof she's lived in LA for over 2 decades now. Starts, the mourner, tired, disoriented, teary, rises. The community stops its quiet chatter and looks over as he begins slowly, almost in a whimper. The mourner says, I am in anguish. In one unified voice, the community responds, Amen. We are here. We see you. The mourner takes a breath and continues. The mourner says, I don't know how to hold this pain. The community and mourner together say, Amen. We wish it could be different. The mourner says, I'm afraid I'll forget the sound of her voice, the smell of her hair. The community says, Amen. We will never let her disappear from this world. We will say her name and honor her memory. Amen. The mourner says, I can't do this alone. The community says, Amen. We are not going anywhere. We can't take your pain away, but we can cry with you and laugh with you. We can hear the same story as many times as you need to tell it. We can help you remember. Amen. And so, as I think of the Kaddish, it's that idea that we all say Amen. We as a community show up, whether we're mourners or supporters or just a part of a family, a temple family. We honor and remember. And so at this time in our prayers, we think of those taken from our midst in this past month whose Shoshim we mark: Eloise Gouzier, Selma Kotzen, David Weissman. We continue to remember, as we've done for the past almost 4+ months, the 237 IDF soldiers killed defending Israel and working to bring home the Israeli hostages, and the over 1,200 Israeli family and friends whose lives were lost in the attack in Israel of terrorism on October 7th. And linking their names to the names of those whose yortzites we mark today on this Shabbat: friends and family of our congregation, Marcia Stern Alexander, Barry Alper, Doug Appleton, Thomas Barnett, Harry Barish, Angel Berger, Ann Blatt, Leeser Bordelais, Jack Chernek, I. William Cohen, Sheila Dersham, Stuart Dinney, Edna Doigan, Sheldon Ellison, Barbara Farber, Sandra Feldman, Joseph Goldberg, David Goldstone, Richard Green, Gertie Grossman, Chris Heiser, Pauline Heller, Louis Hirschman, Joel Hoffman, M. Lee Holdengreber, Celia Hyman, George Kahn, Alexander Khanachov, Maury Kingston, Bert Kornfeld, Sadie Kovinsky, Molly Lippett, Yetta Lopatin, Saul Lumberg, Kenneth Lynn, Charles Mitchell, Rhoda Moran, Sally Lou Nosenchuk, Doug Pergament, Russell Pfeiffer, Ethel Porter, Pauline Foreman Robb, Leo Rugg, Sanford Rope, Rose Boopy Ross, Sheldon Roth, Augie Rubin, Ben Rudin, Dave Sackwell, Louis Salison, Wally Sampson, Ilo Seidman, Perry Schulman, Ronald Silberman, Faye Smith, Norman Stern, Molly Stoffer, Rose Tarno, Arnold Wasserman, Bessie Weintraub, Edith Weiss, Judith Yaker, Abe Yorofsky, Sherwin Zamler. And linking their names to all the names that we do not recite on this Shabbat: every faith, every family, those who've touched our lives, as well as those who have no one to stand and say Kaddish for them. So do we rise together now as one community and join together in the immortal words of the mourner's Kaddish as found on page 46 of our prayer books. Yikadal v'yikadash shemei Rabbah b'yalma divrach chirutei v'yalmich malchutei b'chayachon u'vyomechon u'chayedecho Beit Yisrael Paralal u'vizman kariv imru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam amei amaya. Yit barach v'yishtabach v'yit pa'ar v'yit ramam v'yit naseh. V'yadar bin aleh bin alal shemei d'kudusha b'richu. Le'ela minko birchata v'shirata. Tushbachata v'nechamata. Da'maram b'yama v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlomo Rabbah min shemaya. V'chaim aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom ben ramav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. The source of peace and peace to those who mourn, comfort to those who are bereaved, here and everywhere. And let us say, Amen.
Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom,
Shalom aleinu.
ve'al kol Yisrael.
Good Shabbos. Thank you, Desmond. I'm glad you
Shabbos.
enjoyed that.
Hey.
Excellent. Always can clap at temple. It's fine. So a few things to share, then a moment of tish and a little nosh outside. We have to make sure that Daphne and Desmond get the first cookies, though. Promise you that, right? Okay, good. So, a few things to share that are special at Temple. One, next Shabbat, next March 1st on Friday, 6:30 Shabbat dinner in the social hall, followed by a 7:30 Shabbat service. So you're all welcome, RSVP in advance, so we know you're coming, and we can have the food for you as well. We're starting a Jewish Hot Topics class. Rabbi Daniel and I will be team teaching. What's Hot Topics? It comes from all of your great Tish questions, things you've been asking, and so we have plans for that. That's beginning March 13th, and you'll be a part of that if you want. Each session will stand on its own. Like I said, Rabbi Daniel and me will team teach. 3 special things for Purim that are on the horizon. As we mentioned, it's Purim Katan. So in 3 weeks on Sunday is our Purim Carnival for all of our children of all ages at Shoresh, 11:30. If you want to help out and volunteer as an adult, please help out. Brotherhood are always cooking for us, helping with that. It's great. On Wednesday before Purim, March 20th, during the Brotherhood meeting, combined with the Brotherhood meeting, so Brotherhood dinner at 6:30, and at 7 o'clock we're going to do a Purim text study with a whiskey tasting. I'll curate a lovely selection of whiskeys for us to enjoy and celebrate, because the holiday of Purim, Ad lo yada, you don't know the difference between cursed be Haman and blessed be Mordechai. So I'll share later on what we'll be drinking that night. I haven't decided what the flavors will be, but It was great. Last year was the whiskeys of my home, and so we had all these great Michigan whiskeys, right? Like Mammoth Rye from up north, and Journeyman Bourbon from the west coast of Michigan, and Detroit Distillery. We had their new gin, the Lady of the House gin, really nice. And we also had from 2J, we had some great stuff. And then we had the malt whiskey from Milk and Honey from the distillery in Tel Aviv, which is superb. And won Whiskey of the Year in Scotland, blind tasting last year. Ooh, were the Scots pissed off at the Israelis. Some of the issues in the UN because of that whiskey, I think. And then, of course, on Saturday night, March 23rd, the Purim Spiel with Cantor, and those who are performing. It should be wonderful here in the sanctuary or in the social hall we're doing.
I think it's going to be in the social hall.
More dinner, theater kind of thing.
A different kind of Purim Spiel, a Purim extravaganza. Please come.
Right.
We'll have a good time.
Good times.
And it's Purim.
Right. And a week after that, it is the actual night of Purim. That's Saturday night. So we'll read the Megillah as well. On March 31st, I'm leaving on a solidarity mission, a quick trip to Israel for 3 days. A dozen temple members have already signed up to go with me. Gary Schumann is one of them, our president-elect. So it should be really a difficult and important trip to go on. And so maybe a few of you are interested in that as well. A few others have been talking to me about that. And it's nice. My brother, who has a congregation of a few hundred families in New York, he wants to go too. So Rabbi Steve Moskowitz will be joining with me and a couple of his congregants. So you'll get to meet him and learn from him as well as from me. And he's a good rabbi. So anyway, so with that in mind, Tish questions. Mel Simon asked in the Tish online, is the two-state solution for Israel-Palestine dead? And I would say, as far as Israel goes today, it's not to be discussed. That, like, for Israel, they're not there yet. Like, what happened on October 7th changed everything, and they can't even think of that. Now, is it possible? Yes. I think Tom Friedman's essay about 3 weeks ago in the New York Times talked about the Saudi option, with Saudi Arabia funding a new Palestine and helping make this a reality, and with the moderates in Saudi Arabia who are beginning a relationship with Israel now, making that possible in their support of Israel. But right now, Israel has to bring home their family, their hostages, and we can't end. I mean, I don't like war. I don't want to be this, zealot who says, like, war is the answer. My challenge is when you put down your weapons and missiles will arrive from Hamas again, then what's the solution? So Israel, and my most progressive, my most liberal friends in Israel have said to me, we can't have a ceasefire because missiles still land. Until we know those are done, then we can begin to talk about that. So can there be a two-state solution? Yes, I believe there has to be at some point. I heard a great, so I actually was thinking of Navalny this week a lot and reading a lot about him, and I was thinking I should add his name to Kaddish in the tragic, his tragic death. And I watched the documentary again on HBO, the Navalny's documentary that came out, a year ago. And he's asked a question at the end by the documentarian, what will happen if you die? You're going back to Russia, and, it's possible. And he says, it lives on beyond me. It's not just me. And he says, how could you still have hope? He's like, because it's about an idea. And ideas can give us hope. And so he and Natan Sharansky had this beautiful correspondence. I don't know if any of you read about it this week. Natan Sharansky made it public. He saved these handwritten letters. So Navalny wrote Anatoly Sharansky, Natan Sharansky, who's an Israeli, who was a refusnik, who was in the Gulag in Siberia for years because he was a Jew who was a leader who wanted to leave Russia, right? And he made it public. When he was asked for a statement, his statement was, next year in Jerusalem. This is in Russian court, right? So he eventually got to Israel. I think got to Israel in 85. And I was one of the first refuseniks who got there and was able to move. He was the one who organized the rally for Soviet Jews in 1987 in Washington, D.C. And so he became a member of the Knesset, elected official of Knesset, brilliant man. So here he talked about how he got through those dark days in the Gulag, I think 6 years, and reading Psalms and what that meant to him. But Navalny wrote him a letter, and they had this correspondence. And Barry Weiss, the journalist, published them this week, but she also published an interview she did 3 weeks ago in January, 4 weeks ago now, with Natan. She went to Israel and had this interview, hour-long, with Natan Sharansky. You can pull it up on YouTube. Really worth listening to. Because his perspective about Israel, but also about Russia and his own experience and what freedom is, and it makes me think of the lessons of Viktor Frankl, a man who survived the death camps of Nazi Germany, who said, you can't take away our freedom to choose. My body can be in shackles, but I always have my mind. And my mind is what makes me free. And hearing Sharansky's words when he was imprisoned, and now as a free Israeli and as a Jew, and hearing Navalny's words as a man imprisoned saying, I might die, but my ideas are free. And I'm living, he knew what could happen. I mean, we asked the question, like, why would you go back? He said, I have to go back. If I believe in this, I have to say these words from Russia. I can't say them from Germany now that I'm healed. I don't know if I could do that, but it's remarkable. So, that was a tangent, sorry. Your questions. I mean, it came from Mel's question. Yes. Thank you. Why are we so impure that we cannot step on the Temple Mount? So we can step on the Temple Mount. We can't go. Are you saying as a Jew? Okay, so two different concepts here. So I wasn't sure where you're going. So what you're referring to, my friend, my scholar, my student, so Mr. Norton, what we're referring to is in Jerusalem, the Temple Mount, where the Holy of Holies was, where the ancient temple was built, right? So a religious Jew, an ultra-Orthodox Jew, won't ascend to that because the temple doesn't exist today. And not until the Messiah comes and the temple is reconstructed in a Messianic age are we invited back up there. So right now, it has to wait for us. And so we don't preempt that by doing it. Muslims today, the Waqf of Jordan controls that area. We are allowed to go up to the Temple Mount. I was up there this summer, last summer, 23. But we can't go into the Dome of the Rock. About 20 years ago, I think, maybe more, the Waqf decided that you must be a Muslim to go into the Dome of the Rock. Dome of the Rock is not a mosque per se. It's the gold dome. It's really a shrine, and inside of it, it's a giant rock. That's the top of the mountain, right? And in Judaism, we believe that's where Isaac was almost sacrificed by Abraham, the top of Mount Moriah. Islam believes that's where Muhammad ascended with his horse, leapt off into the heavens from there. So it's a holy place, and the mosque was built around this. In Judaism, that's where the Temple Mount was, where the sacrifice could occur in ancient times. So when I was a little boy, in 1977 or 79, we were able to go into that. And you observe it as someone of Islam would. You take your shoes off, right, and show respect, and you walk in there barefoot without your shoes on. And I went in there in 1998 as well. You're able to go up there. So it's only a newer law that says that only someone who's Muslim could be an American Muslim, but you have to know sort of the watchword of their faith. You have to be able to pronounce and say the first verses of the Quran to be allowed in. So they control that entire area. So if you go up there today and like you're in shorts, they may tell you to put something around your legs, especially if you're a woman or if you have your arms covered. But men, too, they want to be modestly dressed as well. But especially women, and they'll come after you, and the authorities are yelling at people up there, too. So but in 1967, when Israel reunified Jerusalem, and Moshe Dayan, in his brilliance, I believe, said, we don't need to control this. This is a Muslim holy site today. The two of the holiest mosques in the world outside of Mecca, Medina, are here. The Al-Aqsa Mosque, which is the silver one, and the Dome of the Rock. And so they should control that. We don't want to have control of that, even though we control all the land around it. And Moshe Dayan said, that's how we'll live in peace. And so, there's a lot of other challenges, but I think that was the right decision. So, Okay, it's Purim Katan. These are heavy subjects. Gary, I was finishing. What's that? No, the only holiday of Purim, the only holiday of Adar is Purim. There are things that lead up to Purim and things that go right around it. Like there's the fast of Esther, Ta'anit Esther, that we do the day before Purim, because Esther did that to get ready for the celebration. If you live in a walled city, you celebrate it for 2 days. Purim Katan, you only do a little joy. You're not allowed to do a fast leading up to it on this one. So, excellent. Yes, Amy? What prayers? I'm not sure. Amy's question is about in a more traditional synagogue scene, people cover their eyes for certain prayers. I don't know the specifics of it. But speaking of prayers, it's time we say a kiddush over the wine. If we please rise. Arthur Fishman celebrated a birthday the other day.
Yay!
So, Arthur, come here, buddy. You have to lead us in the kiddush.
Yes.
Should we sing happy birthday first before the kiddush?
Yes. Yom
Happy
Huledet
Sameach.
Yom Huledet
Sameach. Yom Huledet Sameach. Happy birthday to you.
Arthur, and many more.
Ready for the buzzing?
Yeah!
I would say, but wait. We got to do it. Baruch atah Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen.
Amen.
Got it?
L'chaim.
L'chaim.